Deportiva y con swing.
Deportiva y con swing.
La factoría del deporte desde New York para ti. Es una máquina.
Es una máquina
Pensada para ti.
pensada para ti. Número uno en las redes, dale like y compartir.
Con informaciones importantes siempre frescas.
Y con entrevistas que te ponen de cabeza.
Lo mejor del deporte lo encontrarás aquí.
Búscale en las redes, dale like y compartir.
Suscríbete,
Ay sí,
infórmate.
ok. Dale a la campana para que te llegue.
What's up, guys? How are you guys doing? How are you, Mr. Verlander? Hey. How are you? I got this if you want. I actually will.
Justin, how are you?
Hey, good. How are you?
Hey,
What's up, guys? Give me a minute.
Justin, with the way the year has gone for you, how much have you been able to relish in your performance, knowing you missed all last year, and just being able to soak up the moments, including this one at All-Star Game?
Yeah, I think that's been one of the coolest things is the new perspective and being away and having the game almost taken away and battling, doing the rehab and getting back. I think it makes me appreciate things a little bit more, be in the moment a little bit more, kind of, not take things for granted. Not that I ever tried to in the past, but this, having surgery and at my age and not having anybody come back from it really, kind of wakes you up a little bit. So I appreciate all of it.
Justin, why was it important for you to be here, even though you're not pitching?
I just think it's such an amazing experience. It's such a compliment to the players who get selected, especially, for me, the starting pitchers are always selected by our peers, selected by the players. So it's just something that I always felt was the right thing to do. It would be it surely would be a lot easier sometimes to stay at home and relax, but it's. I remember as a kid, sometimes when guys got selected that were some of my favorite players and they didn't show up, it disappointed me a little bit, and I've always kind of remembered that and said if I ever do get selected, I'm going to go no matter what, if I can.
I know you're not going to pitch, but when Kershaw got named the starter for the National League, did it kind of make you think, gosh, it'd be really fun to have that marquee matchup of Kershaw-Verlander?
Of course, it would have been a lot of fun. I'm really happy for him. He's earned it. His career just is so incredible, and so always been a fan of his, and so I'm so happy to see him start. It would have been a lot of fun to be his counterpart, but pitching on Saturday and being my first year back from Tommy John, it just wasn't the right move.
Who will you root for tonight in the Home Run Derby?
Good question. Haven't thought about it. I think more this time it's just more about the experience, and I'm hoping that I can get my daughter out there on the field and hang out with her and more just kind of soak it all in.
What does it mean to have your family around? Especially you talked about year after year, 9th all-time selection. But as your kids get older, is it really nice to share with them?
My daughter's 3.5. She'll be 4 in November, so I guess a little older than 3.5. But that's been a world of difference for me. My rehab, you can't even call it a silver lining. It was just such an experience. I am so grateful for the time that I got to spend with my family, and to have them around is just such a blessing.
Will you take part in the red carpet event with your family tomorrow?
Planning on it, yeah.
How special will that be to have your family with you doing that sort of thing?
I hope it's special. I'll let you know afterwards.
You talked when you didn't start an opening day. You talked about how that would be like one of your favorite opening days to take in the pageant.
Yeah.
Is this kind of similar? You're not going to pitch, but you get to take in kind of everything from a different lens, different perspective.
Yeah, I think so. So I had the perspective of doing it in the past when I didn't have to pitch and just being able to enjoy it. But I came for a different experience back then. It was more just have fun. Joke with the guys, have a couple drinks. I think this time it's something I want to experience with my family and specifically my daughter, because I'm hoping she gets special access so I can bring her out on the field and stuff. So I think that's what I'm looking forward to most, and I don't really know what to expect. Haven't done it before.
She's starting to understand what Daddy does for a living.
Yes, she's actually the game. She came to the game on Saturday, and Kate was saying that she's really starting to get into it, and she doesn't really understand quite yet what's going on. I mean, if I give up a homer, she's just as happy as if we hit a homer, but she's really getting into it and just enjoying the atmosphere, and we were walking around the locker room the other day, and it was just, there was like a highlight on TV, and it was me, and she just stopped and was looking at the screen. She's like, "Daddy, that's you!" And I'm like, "Yeah, it is." She's like, "You playing baseball?" I'm like, "Yeah, I am." Yeah, it's awesome. I love it.
Hi, go ahead. You've been to a lot of these, and a lot of them have been with Kershaw there. Do you have any memories of All-Star games past with Kershaw?
Not specifically with him. They do a pretty good job of just like keeping us completely separate. Really, the team photo is the only time we get to talk to each other, or maybe if we go and passing at the hotel, and it's such a busy, hectic schedule, we don't get a lot of time. I've always been such a fan of his, and anytime I get to see him, I let him know. I appreciate all the work he's done, and always look forward to seeing him pitch. This is no exception.
Thanks.
With your other two teammates here for the first time, what is your memory from your first All-Star game?
My first memory was being scared out of my mind going into the locker room. It was 2007, so I mean we're talking about like all of the guys I grew up watching being in that locker room, and I just felt like I had no place in there. Like this is also like, there were inside jokes. All these guys had been to the All-Star game so many times. They all knew each other so well from going to All-Star games that they all had inside jokes with each other. And like, I remember Ichiro standing up and saying something to the team. Big Papi stood up, said something, and then he handed it off to Ichiro to say something, and it was like it was scripted, like they'd done it many times before. It was an inside joke that I just wasn't inside on, and it was just, it was just such a surreal experience because, I mean, those guys, were idols to me growing up, and so to be in that locker room, I just kind of like remember just being in the corner and just like not wanting to talk to anybody.
Hi, I'm TV Tokyo. There's many fans looking forward to having this opportunity to watch a wonderful player, including you. But can you give us a little message for a Japanese fan?
Yeah. Hello to everybody in Japan. I hope it's a good game. I hope I'm excited just like you guys to watch Shohei. He's one of my favorite players. Actually, this year was the first time that I got to watch him start a game and then lead off right after, and I thought it was one of the coolest experiences. So I'm a fan just like everybody else, and I'm going to be a fan of this All-Star game and just get to watch the best players in the world play, and I'm excited to be a part of it.
Justin, how special?
Just a little rumor that Ohtani might be traded and maybe becoming one of your team. So if you become a teammate, what do you think?
Who? Ours? That is not fair to make me comment on that rumor. That is the rumor mill. But I'm like I said, I'm a huge fan of Shohei. He's doing something that I've never seen done, and I'm just in awe of some of the stuff he's able to do.
Justin, how special for you to represent the Astros in the city of Houston here on the stage?
Wonderful. I think the city of Houston's been so incredible to me and my family, and to be able to represent them, and unfortunately I can't really give them anything to cheer for because I won't be really doing anything. But but still, just being here and being part of this is great, and I hope we represent them well.
Justin, you've seen a lot of young players come up over your career. You're seeing a lot of Julio Rodriguez with the Mariners right now. What do you make of him and what he's done so far?
Special. He's a special player. Even the first month of the season, I think you could really see it, even though he wasn't kind of putting up the numbers that he is now, obviously. But he just kind of has that it factor, and I think he's going to be one of the best players of baseball for a long time to come.
Yeah, there's certainly been waves of young talent. What's it like just seeing guy after guy after guy come up and just impress like this?
Yeah, it's interesting because I guess the time I've been around, you see a lot of young guys and who have great starts to their career, and I mean really you just kind of like wonder if they're going to keep it up. If they're not, you've seen a lot of guys who have become perennial all-stars and Hall of Fame type players, and then you see some guys who just started off hot and then couldn't make the adjustment. So I think that for me is something that's always interesting to follow. I have guys that I kind of note in my head, like I think that guy is going to be like something special for a long time, and I really enjoy watching how they change and adapt to how the league changes and adapts to them.
Is Julio one of those guys in your head?
I think he is, yeah.
Hey Justin, you and Clayton have been able to span a lot of years in this league and the way it's changed.
Mm-hmm.
What's been the biggest key for both of you to evolve, and do you feel like you guys exploit now, guys swinging for slug?
I think you kind of said it, you nailed it on the head, which is I think what Clayton and I have both been able to do is stay true to ourselves but evolve to how the game has evolved. I think if, I haven't talked to Clayton about this, but like myself personally, as the game has changed, the slugging's gone up, the balls have changed a bit. I think the thing I've noticed that I do most differently now is try to pitch to no contact. When everybody's hitting home runs, you can't really pitch to contact like you used to, and I'm sure Clayton used to pitch to contact when he was younger. The old strike one, down and away, get a little fly ball to right field. That's kind of gone by. Now it's kind of get weak contact, get swing and miss as much as you can, just miss barrels. So that's a bit different. Thus I don't really throw, back like 2011, 12, I would always start the games in the low 90s and kind of work my way up velocity-wise. You just can't do that anymore. You can't risk giving up a couple, early homers. So that's how I've kind of adapted. And then I think the addition of analytics, I think it does give guys like Clayton and myself and guys that have been around a while an advantage. And I think the advantage is that we still have this wealth of information in our head, the instincts of playing baseball for so long without the advice of analytics. So then when you add the analytics in, I think if you use it right, I think you get this good a mixture of being able to know your strengths and weaknesses, know the hitter's strengths and weaknesses, how you can match up against them, but then also in the middle of the game, you can adjust so quickly because you have your instincts from all the time in the past. So you can revert back to pitching, not just throwing to the numbers.
Is that validation for guys like you and Clayton that you can mix in both and not be married to just the analytics?
I don't know if validation's the right word. I think that I would hope that in a game that's trending a lot towards numbers and analytics, that some of those people can see the value in something that you can't really put a metric on. Value of pitching, value of being able to stay calm, react to what the hitter's telling you, all the things that they don't want to value because you can't put a number on it. But I think I would hope that seeing guys who have been around a while and learn how to adapt to not just pitching to numbers. I think hopefully that brings about an age where you can allow pitchers to pitch more, starting pitchers to go deeper in games. The things that I think like guys like Clayton and I really appreciate.
Justin, the obligatory LA question, just how you're...
What's the LA question?
Well, the reception that you might get tomorrow.
Why? What are we talking about? I'm just kidding.
I know.
I'm assuming it's going to be I don't know, rowdy. Look, I'm here to represent myself, the organization, baseball. I'm excited to be here. I wouldn't have come otherwise. I don't know what to expect. I'm sure some people will boo. I hope some people just appreciate, what we were able to accomplish, and we'll see. I don't really have any expectations, except for maybe a little bit of booze.
Thank you, Justin.
How's it feel having Miggy and Albert here?
Wonderful. Been huge fans of both of them for a long time. Obviously, playing with Miggy for so long. I think it was a really cool move by the commissioner. I think it's a pretty special moment for both of them, and I hope that they get the appreciation that they deserve for what they've been able to accomplish in this game.
Yeah, facing Albert for so long, does anything stand out? Is there a bat that stands out in your memory with him?
Yeah, the homer he hit off me in the 2006 World Series.
I know you only played with Joe Musgrove for a couple months.
Yeah.
I wonder how much you've watched him evolve and into being an all-star.
Yeah. Very excited for Joe. I obviously we did play together for a bit, and just to see him, I actually talked to him this morning. I'm very happy to see, how he's matured into such a great pitcher, and really just kind of grown, and I couldn't be happier for him and his family.
He's one of those guys that you played with back then. It was kind of a blur, right? He's kind of a swing guy, and you guys happen to be
to be honest with you, I haven't seen him pitch a ton to be in the National League. I really like to watch guys in person, so I couldn't really tell you how different he is now from then. I mean, back then he was just, really young in the league and just kind of like good stuff. I don't think he really quite knew what to do with it, but you could see that the talent was really there. And, the game teaches you how to either grow and have success or you find your way out of it. And I think, guys like Joe who are really intelligent, are blessed with great talent, you put those things together and he adapts to the game and you get what you see now, a great pitcher.
Justin, how are you feeling at this point in your career, still dominating and really earning your way onto this team?
Feel great. I put in a ton of hard work during my rehab, and not really sure what those results would be. I think I never really let doubt creep in, but obviously nobody's really come back from the surgery at my age. Just kind of put my head down and work hard and spend time with my family, and so to see the fruits of that labor and to have success and, like you say, earn my way on this team, it means a lot to me. Just because I know how much I sacrificed the last couple of years to get here. It feels wonderful.
Now, we know it may not matter, but amongst you and the Astros, what are you all expecting when you get introduced in this stadium tonight?
Booze?
Yes, we talked a little bit. We talked a little bit in spring training, and I know how important history is to you and the place of the game. So this is sort of a weird question, but you've done so much. 3 no-hitters. Is a perfect game something that you can aspire to? Or that
No.
How do you view that? Because it's been a long time since baseball's had.
I don't think I don't think it's something you can aspire to do. It just kind of happens. It's like no-hitters. I mean, it'd be, some of the best. Roger Clemens never had a no-hitter. It's like something that you can't say, I want to accomplish that. It's kind of how I really focus on all of my, do I want to get to 300 wins? Sure. Do I want to get to 4,000 strikeouts? Sure. Do I want to, whatever, you name it. Of course I want to do that, but it's not a goal of mine. A perfect game is not a goal. It's something that just happens in the moment, and it's just it's such an incredible thing. The stars have to align, everything has to be perfect. So no, to answer your question, but whenever I see one happen, especially like from a guy like Kershaw who had one going, you hope it can happen.
When there was that little run early in your career, 10 and 12, Galarraga should have had one, so that would have been 6.
Yeah.
Did it seem like it was becoming somehow more common? And it sort of even
I guess it did, yeah. I didn't really think about that. Yeah, it was happening a little often back then, but just like everything else in this game, ebbs and flows.
Yeah. Even with the great pitching right now, it's just too weird an accomplishment.
Yep.
Let's get a picture here. Jason's going to take a picture.
Okay. Yeah.
Thanks, Justin.
Got it.
Hi, Justin. So after recovering from TJ surgery, you've already won like 11 so far. What kind of like personal care do you have?
What kind of what?
Personal care, or like what kind of like a program you have?
I think my program now is more based on recovery and mobility, trying to keep my body from not compensating too much from pitching. That's really my main focus in season. Off season, very different. It's strength training, trying to get as strong as I can physically. And so right now it's try to keep my elbow healthy. A lot of maintenance on like forearm, bicep, chest, and like I said, just kind of focusing on the rest of it is kind of my mobility.
So you faced with Otani in April. What did you think pitching him at that time?
Yeah,
this year?
he's. I think from the last time I faced him, I think he's gotten a lot better. He's one of the most gifted, athletic players in baseball, and pitching against him is always a challenge, and I really enjoy it. And I would say this year was also the first year that I got to see him because I've been hurt. I got to see him. He started the game in Anaheim, and then he's on the on-deck circle and comes out and leads off. I thought it was one of the coolest experiences in baseball that I've seen.
What would you say is MVP? Who's the MVP of the American League right now?
We were just arguing about this in our clubhouse the other day.
And what was the vote?
My vote was Shohei.
Yeah. What was that?
As the rules are written, I don't know.
What was that?
It's hard. It's hard.
How was the debate? Was it Judge versus Ohtani?
There's a few names thrown around, but it's basically, that's kind of the debate, yeah.
Yeah. Was it even split or somebody leading?
Good question.
There was support for both.
I don't know if I don't know if anybody changed their mind. It's like it's like your vote for MVP. It's like if you believe one thing, you vote one way. If you believe another way, you vote another.
Why do you think it's Ohtani?
A lot of people didn't think I should have won it.
You were going away. Come on. Why do you think it's Ohtani?
I think as the rules are written, if he goes out and is one of the top 10 pitchers in the league and is also one of the top 10 hitters in the league, I think it's hard to vote against. I mean, like, if you're the best hitter in baseball and a good, let's say Judge, for example, I don't want to not Judge. If you're one of the best hitters in baseball and a great fielder, I guess the one thing that Shohei is not doing, I guess the one thing that we talked about was because they have to shuffle the rotation for Shohei to give him an extra day to really recover and be able to hit, then the one argument against him would be then the extra pitcher that has to cover for that day, if he isn't above like a replacement level player or whatever, then that would be a detriment. That's really the only negative that we could come up with. So maybe how you would value it would be, subtract. I don't like to talk shit about any players ever, but so unfortunately I'm probably talking about somebody right now. But whoever the extra person is that has to fill in, you'd have to subtract that from whatever great Ohtani is doing. And now, does that outweigh it? I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe it does. I guess that's to be determined at the end of the year.
It'd be a good debate.
Of course, it's a great debate. That's what's great about baseball. You can debate this stuff all day long.
Well, there are more Yankees in the clubhouse. That might help one side or the other.
Oh, this wasn't in this clubhouse.
Oh, in Houston.
Yeah, it was in Houston. Yeah, we were just. I mean, look, we all love baseball. We love talking about it. So yeah,
cool.
it's a conversation that comes up, of course. I thought that was a pretty good way to maybe even it out, because as the rules are written, it's not really fair. If Ohtani has a good year doing both things, then it's kind of like, how do you not win? I mean, he's one of the best pitchers, one of the best hitters. It's incredible. But then you have guys like Judge who are having just incredible seasons as well. So I guess maybe the maybe you detract. Maybe I don't know. Good debate.
Justin, I'm sure this will come up. You're closing on 130 innings, which will trigger the opt-out of the contract. How much thought?
Now's when you want to talk about that?
I mean, I figure it's coming up.
Good question. Good question.
I figured it was going to come up at some point.
Yeah. I hope. Yeah.
Have you given thought to that? Have you given thought to how your future in Houston?
I mean, of course, it creeps in. I'm human. You never know what the future holds, and you'd like to. But I think one thing that this game has taught me is just put your head down, work hard, and whatever happens, happens. It's like you can't think about the stuff you can't think about the what ifs or if nots or whatever. You just do the best you can every 5 days or 6 days, or on occasion 7 or 8 now, and wherever the chips fall, they may. And I think hopefully this is a year that we can win a championship. And if this is the end of my run with Houston, it's just been nothing short of incredible. And the people and the city and the team and my teammates have been a blessing. If it's not the end, then it's also a blessing. So,
great answer.
Justin, I've been asking guys what their big adjustment was that sort of led to this moment back in their career. And I asked Garrett, and he gave you some love, said switching to the 4 seam, and said that you were a big part of that. I don't know if you have a comment on that, or just something was that something similar that came to you as a younger pitcher? That was.
It didn't come to me when I was younger. That's how analytics helped. That was really, everybody's like, how did what changed when you got to Houston? And really, the only thing that changed, besides having analytic-driven. Showing strengths and weaknesses of hitters, the only other thing that changed was like they were like, okay, your 2-seam is mediocre, your 4-seam is elite. Stop throwing your 2-seam. Like you're doing favors to hitters.
Similar conversation I had, I guess.
Exactly. So I was like, okay, that's a pretty simple. Okay, so take that and run with it. And it was really good timing too, because I had just fixed my mechanics a month before I got traded there. So I started pitching much better in Detroit, get to Houston, and then just kind of like what happened. And then as far as Garrett, yeah, I mean, I remember playing catch with him in the outfield, and they told him something similar. And it was spring training, and we were throwing, and he threw a fastball here. So he's on the other side, and he threw it like high in my arm side. And it really took off. And he kind of like, he didn't like it because he thought he yanked it. And then he threw one over here and was like pleased with it. And that one kind of like had this little like, kind of like fade to it. It's all I said. I was like, Garrett, that one is the good one. That one, not so much. And he's like, got it. And it just like, off to the races. So yeah, I take no credit in it except for being like the person who was just on the backside. Hey, that was really good. Do that more.
Love that about pitching.
Yeah.
Just talk.
Oh God, we had some great conversations, him and I. We would always sit there and just we'd talk all game long about pitching. It's great.
Can you take us inside what an at-bat against Juan Soto is like?
It's like a dance. It's fun. I always enjoy pitching against the best hitters in the game, especially guys like him who have just an incredible eye for the zone. So it's this like ebb and flow of like, okay, I'm gonna have to come to you in the zone because you don't chase. How do I get in the zone? How do I get to 2 strikes? How do I get you to expand when I get there? And so there's just this back and forth that I really, really enjoy.
I'm sorry, after the MVP thing, when you were kind of asked to do this, but is that as tough an at-bat as there is in the sport right now? Is it the toughest, I guess I should ask?
I mean, is it the toughest? That's a hard question. Every hitter matches up well against certain pitchers, and pitchers match up good or bad against certain hitters. So, I mean, I can't sit here and say one guy is the best or worst, but he is absolutely one of the at-bats I most enjoy, one of the matchups I most enjoy having, because that like back and forth, that dance, like I said, where we're adjusting on the fly, we're adjusting so quickly from pitch to pitch, and not many people see that, but him and I know what's going on.
And he's adjusting too.
Of course he is. Yeah, very quickly, and that's an attribute to him. His ability to adjust is what makes him so great, besides all the other talent that everybody else sees.
Within the at-bat you're talking about, not just at-bat to at-bat, but like
pitch to pitch. Pitch to pitch.
Thank you.
Do you see the potential for Julio Rodriguez to get to that level?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Star. He's going to be incredible. Yeah.
What do you make of what the Mariners are doing right now? Like 14 in a row, 19 and 22. You guys have seen them a lot. Did you see that potential?
Yeah, I think you could see it. I think they played the Astros very tough last year, and then I think the potential was definitely there early in the season. I think with J-Rod getting going and their pitching, it makes them very dynamic.
The American League has won so many of these in succession, and with the one that they're sure against Penn, they won like 14 more before that. Does it mean a lot to the American League?
I mean, I don't know. I think it's something you take a little bit of pride in, but I don't think it's something that it means a ton to. No, I mean, I think it was different when the leagues, when the DH was in the NL and there was no DH in the AL. They were two very different leagues, and I think just the hitting in general was probably far more dynamic in the American League because of the pitching had a lot better stuff because just over like from 1 through 5, every guy out of the bullpen. You've heard guys say it. Miguel Cabrera came over from the National League. It was like, oh my God, where's the 5th starter that throws 88 and like throws me sinkers? It's like it doesn't exist in the American League because you really couldn't survive in that league without having the pitcher and the 8-hole guy. So it was a different game. So that was kind of fun. The differences, you could kind of see the differences show up when you played in an All-Star game.
Yeah.
But then now, I think it's just more of an exhibition and fun.
You
win comeback player of the year if you don't play the year before?
I don't know. I guess you could. I don't know.
Just and Albert is here, so you're not
Yeah.
the oldest player. How do you feel about Albert?
Great. No, I'm really happy. I think it was a really cool thing that the commissioner's office did. I think it was a great idea adding the what do they call it? The legacy player. It was a great move. The game has changed so much now. The All-Star games in the past, the guys were perennial All-Stars. They had been All-Stars for 10 years. I remember my first All-Star game sitting in the locker room, and all these guys had inside jokes. They had been together for so long. And I was just like not part of this conversation. So it's changed a bit. There's a lot of young talent, a lot of young guys, and so you don't have as much of that, like, the guy's been here 10 straight years, and we all, everybody knows each other. So I thought it was a really good idea to bring guys in like Albert and Miggy, guys that have accomplished so much in this game that might be towards the end of their career not having, their traditional numbers that they used to put up for 15 straight years, but yet are just as deserving as anybody to be here.
What do you think of one of those older guys getting the start for the National League?
I think wonderful. I think it was the right move. I think numbers-wise, there's some guys that obviously you would argue are having better seasons, but this is an exhibition. It no longer means home field advantage for the World Series. We're in Dodger Stadium. Kershaw, his career, if anything, has earned him this start. He totally deserves it, and I think the baseball world should really appreciate what he's been able to accomplish, and is still accomplishing, and this is the perfect moment to appreciate it.
You surprised he hadn't started one before?
He hasn't?
Never.
Well, you just found out. I was surprised. Yeah.
Justin, in 17, when you go to the Astros, put them over the top. Mookie, same thing with the Dodgers. I'm wondering if the other guys and the other contenders are looking what happens to Soto this year, that he can be that type of guy that if he goes to the Yankees or if he goes to you guys or Mets, Dodgers, that he could be that type of guy that gets the team over the top.
He's a game changer. He is. So, yeah, I think anytime you talk about somebody like that potentially being traded, I think everybody's ears perk up.
You don't want him to go to the Yankees then, right?
I wouldn't want him to go anywhere where I have to face him a lot.
Justin, this is your ninth one, but what do you tell the guys that's like their first time, or guys like Tucker and Valdez?
Enjoy it. It's such an experience. It's a whirlwind. It's not easy. It'd be easier to stay at home and take a few days off and kick your feet up, but it is just such a magical thing to be here and be around your peers who are also the best in the game. And it just goes by so fast. I think I wish you could slow it down, but I guess my advice is always just kind of like try to take in as much as you can.
3 years ago, we talked about after in Cleveland the ball, and you had these great, thoughtful comments on it.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on what the ball is like?
They
now?
weren't so thoughtful. I know I got a little upset, but that's all right.
Just the difference between that, like the 2019 ball and now. I know I talked to Stanek a little bit about it, and just the different guys, like maybe the things that they don't like or they like, or what would you like the ball to be, basically?
I think all pitchers want is consistency. That's pretty much it, and that was my argument the entire time. Was that I thought things were changing without us knowing, and that's just kind of hard. You can't adjust to something that's unknown. I guess just a little clarity would have been nice. But I think, in hindsight, I think I understand what baseball's trying to do. They're just trying to find a more consistent ball. And so when they took something that was really inconsistent to make and try to make it more consistent, I think that's where you get these changes. And I think ultimately, I hope that they find a consistent ball that is, not every hitter in the lineup can hit a backside homer, but the big boys still can. And something that tries to bring back the style of play that I think you're starting to see. I think you saw it quite early this season, really, when the ball was just not flying like we were accustomed to it the last few years. Steals started going up, some smaller ball activity started going up. Guys worked, trying to get base hits with 2 strikes, shortening up. Those little things I think that the game needs. We need those little victories in baseball for people that understand the game. In football, you have all these, small things to cheer about other than just the touchdown and a field goal. You have first down. You have all these opportunities to have, little cheers. If you understand baseball, those little things matter as well. So, a stolen base, get a guy on second base, get him over, sack fly, get him in. Those things are, it's not the big raucous cheer that you get for a home run. but it's action, and I hope that that's where we end up getting to, where, you know, in 19, you know, my last full year, when the ball was flying like that and everybody could hit a home run, it just didn't make sense analytically to take a risk on trying to steal a bag or take a risk on trying to shorten up with 2 strikes and just put it in play, because, you know, guys are getting paid on slugging percentage and OPS, and, you know, 1 out of 10 times you put the ball in play in the air, it's going to be a homer. So, you know, they're like, well, shit, I'm going to try to put the ball in the air.
Can you feel it pitch to pitch, different ones?
The balls change. Yeah, they change. They're not super consistent right now. But I think I've just kind of taken it and just try to find a ball that I like. And, you know, I guess for pace of play's sake, it's not the best thing in the world. But you know, I'll throw out 2 balls to get the one, you know, one that feels like the one before.
One last for me.
Playoff format and how it might play out in the second half, and especially in October.
I'm sorry?
The new playoff format.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on that? How it may affect the second half and the postseason?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess we all agreed to put in the extra playoff spot with the intention of creating a more competitive balance across the league, right? So I hope that's what happens. You know, I hope more teams decide to go for it. I hope, you know, I hope that it works the way that everybody intends it to work. I guess I'm not a huge advocate of just like having a lot of teams in the playoffs. I think you can water it down. But I don't know that yet. This format, I definitely don't like the just one play-in game. You know, I don't think that was very fair to either team. You know, I think a 3-game series is a cool idea. To be determined.
And the 3 days off that you're in position now.
That's tough. I don't know how that's gonna. You know, I've been on the wrong side of having too much time off twice in my career. 2 World Series where we had 06, and then we had a bunch of time off in 12 when we played the Giants. We swept again. So both of those times the time off was not beneficial. I don't know if it will be. 3 days is different than like 6 or 5, 7. I don't know. I forget how many we had, but it'll be interesting to see how that affects the winning teams. You know.
What would it mean 7 or 8 days off to help Dusty win his first postseason? What would it mean to him?
Yeah, it would mean a lot. Obviously it's the kind of the last thing in Dusty's. He needs a World Series championship on his mantle, and I really hope that we can help achieve that for him. He deserves it. He's such an accomplished manager, Hall of Fame manager, and I know how much he cares about us, and it would be nice to accomplish that together.
You wouldn't mind having one for yourself, too.
Absolutely.
One last question. You mentioned your first All-Star game. Alec knows that he was picking your brain at this point.
We were more just talking about shoes at this point, but I'm sure we'll talk some more.
What are your impressions of him?
Huge fan, really impressed. I think we had a pretty similar career trajectory where he didn't spend much time in the minors, came up very quickly, has had a lot of success early on in his career, and to be able to do that, I know how difficult that is, and I really enjoy watching him pitch and wish him all the success.
Just what's it like for you being with the All-Star game with Pujols for the final time?
Say that again?
What's it been like for you being with Albert Pujols for the last All-Star game?
Yeah, really cool. I don't know if you were here when I was saying. I think I thought what the commissioner did was a really good idea. Adding the legacy pick. Guys like Albert. The game has changed so much. It's not the same All-Star games that we used to have. Like when my first All-Star game in 07. I sat in a locker room and everybody had been there consecutively for like 10 years, and then there's like a few people like me who are just like, just don't bother anybody. I think it was a smart idea to be able to honor players like Albert and Miguel, guys that have done so much and accomplished so much in this game that might not be having all-star caliber performances like they're used to for 15 years, but still deserve to be here.
We gotta wrap up, guys. Okay.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Bob.
No se muevan, que continuamos con la máquina deportiva.